Right. Welcome back. We have UFC 289 on tap here at It's Time Picks, Nunes versus Aldana. And I know both of us are excited at least for half of this card. As far as the title card, it's not the most extravagant, we'll say. It's actually kind of lackluster. It's actually really lackluster. But that's neither here nor there. We're here just to break down the fights that we've got, make our picks, and then call it a day. Last week did not go so hot. It was kind of a crapshoot of a card, but this week let's see if we can get back on it. Joe, you got anything to say before we kick off?
Well, this is Canada, one of the Canada's first cards in a while, and I'm sorry, Canada. I thought the UFC can at least give you a few more extra holy crap type of fights, but hey, at least the co-main and the main event on paper should be good.
Hmm. It's kind of funny. So UFC's in Canada this week, and then the PGA Tour is playing their one tournament in Canada this week as
Hmm.
well. Kind of funny. But let's jump right into it. UFC 289, Nunes versus Aldana. Very first fight, we have Diana Belbita versus Maria Oliveira, and I am going to let you kick shit off.
Oh, I like that for the first time. So this fight is two strikers. Neither female in the UFC have had the best record as a whole. Um, Belbita's coming back. She had a 1 year layoff. She had an injury she had to take care of. Oliveira had three fights in the year. I believe she went 1-2. Her one win came from Gloria DePaula. Um, Depends on how this fight style is. Who's the more, I would say the more well-rounded is Belbita if she wants to take it to the ground. But knowing these females, I just see it being a 15-minute striking match. And I'm slightly going Oliveira with activity because she does hit harder. Yes, Belbita has more volume, but I have a feeling Oliveira will be more stronger with her size and strength. And I have a feeling this is going to be a low scoring type of DFS fight as a whole. So I'm probably getting away from it. But I see this thing being a 15-minute striking match.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. I do agree that it goes to decision. Um, this is one of those middle fights where they're, I think, 8 and 8 too, right? Yeah. So Oliveira is 8.2 and Belbita is
I'm not touching
8.
this fight.
The odds have actually flipped. Belbita is now the favorite, which kind of bums me out because I have Belbita. Um, I think Belbita is better than everywhere except for maybe power. And I fully expect her to, if she gets into trouble, to lock in a clinch and look to take it down to the mat where she should have a much bigger advantage over Oliveira. But I do see this being really close. I could easily see it being a split decision. And with these judges, as we continue to say on a weekly basis, and I know we're not the only ones, who the fuck knows what they're going to call. So
Ugh.
it's really shitty. The judges have been ruining quite a bit, including the main event last week. Kai Kara France did not lose that fight. And I don't know what the fuck they were smoking.
I don't know.
But alrighty, once again, we are split on the very first pick. They did not work out for you last week. It's not going to work out for you again this week. So just keep going down. Next up, we have David Devojak and Steve Urseg. Now, I don't know where you are. I know at the beginning of the week you were talking about how Devojak is overrated. And while I do slightly agree, he's not overrated in this fight. Urseg is impressive by all means, but he has not fought anyone near the caliber of Devojak. And simply put, I think Devojak just completely dominates him everywhere this fight goes and potentially submits him, even though Urseg is a grappler.
So you pretty much had my breakdown. I'm not a big fan of Dvorak like that. Ursak, he looks like somebody that just hooked up my cable. But as a whole, I think this is a get right fight for Dvorak because he was supposed to fight Matt Schnell, and I was going to be all over Matt Schnell in that fight. But yeah, this is a get right fight for Dvorak. But Dvorak really hasn't finished nobody yet. But is this a fight where he could do it? Yeah, because from what I've seen from Ursak, his striking's not very good. He leaves his head too straight, and I do give it to Dvorak. He does have good combinations. Who knows? Maybe he'll get like a late second, early round finish. But for now, I'm going Dvorak, and for now, until he proves it, I'm probably going to fade him at 94.
Yeah, I don't like the pricing on it. It's a little steep, so I don't disagree there. Um, But any type of first round finish is going to put him in that territory of paying off. So
Hmm.
that's what it'll come down to. But both of us going with Dvorak. Next up, we have the intriguing Blake Builder going up against Kyle Nelson. Where you at, Joey?
So, in their own right minds, they're both well rounded. You know, Nelson is more of a striker kickboxer, while Builder is well rounded, more of a come forward pressure grappler. And if this is going to be a style of fight, if Builder can't get the fight to the ground, I think Nelson has a chance to outpoint him because Blake Builder does tend to get hittable, and he showed that in his first fight. He got hittable against Shane Young. Nelson, I think he easily lost his last fight, but they took the point away from his last opponent and considered it a draw, and that was absolute horseshit. But I'm on Blake Builder in this fight. I think his nonstop forward pressure. He may not get the first takedown. He may not get the second takedown. But one thing he does chain. He does not let go until he at least gets a body lock of a sort. And it wouldn't shock me if he gets a late second to early third round submission.
I'm right there with you. I will still continue to say that Kyle Nelson is absolute dog water and will be cut after this fight. This
Agreed.
will be he loses. I almost guarantee he's gone. I don't think he's UFC caliber. I don't see him moving forward. And if you go back and watch a few of his other fights, he just looks like shit. Um, yeah, Blake Belder, his nickname is the Animal for a reason. Dude has just ridiculous pressure. He doesn't stop. He reminds me of Clay Guida in a way because he just doesn't stop moving.
I like
It's
that
like
one.
he's like Clay Guida and Billy Quarantillo put together.
Oh, I like that.
So I like Builder a lot in this one. I do think he pays off his salary. He's at 9,000. I actually really like that price point against Nelson. So I think he has his way ragdolls in a bit and completely just dominates him. So both of us going with Builder. Next up, we have Aori Quilang and Ayman Zahabi. This is a really, really toss-up fight for me. On one hand, Aori isn't the most exciting UFC fighter, and he tends to struggle in a lot of fights. I, however, don't think that this is going to be one of those fights. Zahabi just is, I don't know what's going on, but he likes to, for some reason, slow fights down and get all defensive, and that's just not. It's not a recipe to win this one. It somehow worked against Tercios, and it shouldn't because Tercios threw 250 strikes and only landed 20 of them. Make sense. I don't know if if Tercios was just afraid of the power or what it is, but I don't see there's nothing that screams danger to me against Zahabi, and I think Aori just has his way. It should be a volume fest, and he should outpoint him by almost two times. So I'm on the favorite in Aori. I don't like the dog at all in this one.
Yeah, I'm also on Aori. Zahabi, like I said, he has this style where he does tend to slow things down, as you said. Um, but two things will happen. Either Kuyang is gonna be like, you know what, I'm not falling for that. I'm gonna be the one backing you up. I'm be throwing the volume and power, and who knows, potentially get a finish because he is very powerful. Or Zahabi just does what he typically does: be boring, counter strike circles, and just make it a low, boring ass fight and low scoring for DFS. If you're gonna play anything, I would play Quiori, but at the moment, I'm not touching it. I don't trust two styles make a fight. It takes two to tango, and I just have a feeling this fight is gonna mainly be Huang just landing when he can and being a low scoring decision.
Yep, I agree. But both of us on the favorite, although it's not something we're very proud of.
No.
Next up, we have Jasmine Jasudavicius and Miranda Maverick. And I'm actually kind of curious where your breakdowns on this one, so I'm gonna let you go first.
So, like I said, they're both slightly well rounded, but when I go to more well roundedness, Miranda's the more well rounded with the Muay Thai. Jasmine has a decent striking, but she's more of that I'm a wrestler, I'm gonna come in your face type of mentality, and that came out the wrong way a little bit. But oh well. But yeah, she's a come forward pressure wrestler, nonstop pressure. She's strong. She's big for the weight. This is gonna be a class of styles where if who's gonna take the first shot, I think it's gonna be Jasmine. I think credential wise, Jasmine is the better wrestler. But I think Maverick is the more dangerous fighter. She has power in her hands. She's the more slick in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So it just depends on how the style of fights goes. I'm going Jasmine. I'm going the dog. I'm going the home dog. I just think her size is going to come pressure on Maverick. And I think she's going to get on takedown. She's the better. She's one of the, if you look at credential-wise, she's one of the better wrestling females in the UFC. And me, if you're getting me an underdog with that type of potential with takedowns control, I'll play it every time.
Yeah, you're out of your fucking mind.
No, I'm
Jasmine,
not.
Jasmine is a low-level UFC fighter. She beat Gabriela Fernandez, Kay Hansen, and Julie Pilastri. She lost to Natalia Silva, who is an amazing grappler. Now, go over to Miranda Maverick. She beat Shanna Young. Okay, Shanna Young's garbage. She beat Sabina Mazo, who had a relatively decent run. She beat Jillian Robertson, which is an excellent win, and she beat Jojo, who is a really skilled grappler. Now, she lost only to Macy Barber.
That was a win. That was a win.
So she only lost to those two, and she technically probably beat Macy Barber. Now, Aaron Blanchfield ran through her because she's amazing. The competition levels here don't add up. Jasmine is going to
depend on the style. Like if Jasmine she's stronger. No, Jasmine's going to be the more stronger wrestler. If she can get the control, Maverick's boring. She can't fight backing up.
I disagree.
If Maverick's the one not coming forward, Maverick's in a shell. And I'm not saying Maverick's overrated, but when she's not the one having the pressure, she's the one that goes in defense and just is fine staying on her back like she did against Aaron Blanchfield. I'm not trying to compare Jasmine to Blanchfield, but I'm thinking about, when it comes to wrestling credentials, like I said, Jasmine's a good wrestler. Wrestlers can win fights. And only thing I'll say about this, I'm not mad. And if Maverick does win, it wouldn't shock me. But I'm going to home dog because the wrestling style, and that line is too big. I'm sorry. Yes, Maverick is credentialed the better fighter as a whole, but that line's too big.
I disagree. I think Maverick should be a bigger favorite. I think she should be a 5-1 favorite at least.
I'd rather donate a testicle.
Jasmine is not a good fighter. I don't care what you have to say about it. She's not.
So if she wins a decision, what are you going to say?
She's not going to. Unless the judges give it to her. That's the only way.
Hey, you better be careful with that here in Canada.
Yeah, no shit. But yeah, no, Maverick is twice the fighter that Jasmine is. I'm sorry. And 8 out of every 10 people agree with me.
I got something to show you after the video about the Maverick thing. I think it's hilarious.
All right. So we are split on that one as well. I'm going with Maverick. You're going with Jasuda Vicious. Next up, we got Nasruddin Imavov and Chris Curtis. I had my pick for this immediately.
I knew who you're picking from the start once I saw the matchup, so.
Maybe.
No, maybe. I know who the hell you're picking.
Who am I picking?
I'm picking fucking Chris Curtis.
I am picking Chris Curtis, and there's a big reason for it. Imavov, he had a really nice run. He's actually been a relatively good fighter. He beat Buckley, Shabazian, Heinisch, all decent fighters, but then he lost to Sean Strickland. And I think Chris Curtis does the exact same thing. So the problem with Imavov in this fight is he was going to want to take it to the ground, and just like Strickland, he's not going to be able to. Chris Curtis has never been taken down in the UFC. Chris Curtis has more power, and it's only going to be a matter of time before he knocks Imavov out.
So I will say this. You called the Strickland one because I was still high on Imavov because Strickland took it on short nose. I thought he was full of shit for doing it, and shame on me. But yes, I know Curtis is a trading partner of Strickland, but mainly Curtis' success when he closes the distance and uses his inside phone booth boxing. What I think about what's going to happen, either two things. One, I'll say about the DFS. If this is a DFS play, I'm playing Curtis for DFS. Only thing that scares me is Imavov. I don't see Imavov taking him down. I really don't. Could he maybe hug him against the cage and hold him? That's very possible. But then that's when you're in the realm of Curtis being a good clinch striker. He can throw hard inside small shots. I'm slightly on Imavov, just by a hair. I had no confidence on this one. But I think what's going to happen is, yes, they have the same reach, but Imavov is taller. What I think is going to happen is he's going to work the outside kicks, use his 1-2s and circle and frustrate Curtis. But would it shock me at any means if Curtis somehow closes the distance and absolutely knocks him the hell out? No. So for a DFS, to me, this is a Curtis or pass because I'm not playing Imavov at 8,500 where he's not getting takedowns. Only type of control he'll get if he gets punch cage on the control. That's the only type of control he's going to get. Is he going to submit him? No. The only way he'll win is the point decision. That's the only way I see Imavov winning. And is it possible? It's possible. As
That I
long as he
agree
keeps
with.
Curtis at range. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Because Imavov is talented in his own mind. He's not a bum just randomly coming in, but Strickland did. I think that fight with Strickland's definitely going to teach him some things, and I think he's going to honestly play safer in this fight. Now he has to worry about, okay, this guy has power. Strickland doesn't have power. So I think he's going to try to stay arranged to fight, and this is a fight I'm trying to get away from. But if you're telling me you're playing Curtis, I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you say, and I'll never be against Imavov as a fighter. I do think that he's a solid fighter. I was obviously on Strickland, like you said. Um, could Imavov come in and outstrike Curtis? There's no doubt about it. But I think it's going to come down. So if let's say that happens, he strikes him, let's 100 to 80, and it comes down to the judges again. The judges lately have been going off of damage, and I guarantee you, Chris Curtis is going to have more damage.
Mm-hmm.
But in that scenario, then we get the judges and we get a low score for DFS. So it's kind of tit for tat. But we are split on that one as well. I'm going with Chris Curtis. You have Nasruddin Imavov. Next up, we have a fight that I don't really care for much. Marc-Andre Barriel and Eric Anders. And who you got?
I was torn out of this whole card. I think this is probably one of the one fights I was torn on the most. Barrio is well rounded, but I think he's the more fluent striker. He's the more volume striker. Anders, he's the better grappler. Barrio does time to get takedown once in a while, but for the most part, I think his takedown defense is fine.
Mhm.
At one point we were looking at Anders like, okay, maybe he can be a decent contender. Then he run into Santos, run into Machida, blah, blah, blah. I'm slightly on Anders due to upside at his price tag because for one, Anders is hard to finish. He's been finished, I think, twice out of 15 fights. He's durable as hell. Andre Barrios on his side, if someone's going to get finished, I think there's a chance Anders could catch him with a lead overhand and Barrios could fall, potentially. Two things happen. Either Anders gets a finish or Barrios is going to outvolume him probably 2-1 and win a decision.
So you were also on Marquez and I was on Barriel, and Barriel just smashed his face in.
With absolute volume.
That gives somebody a lot of confidence going into fights. And I don't think that Eric Anders can strike with Barriel. I really don't.
I know
He's got power. He's got power. There's no doubt about it. But I think when it comes to striker versus striker, Barriel is far and away better.
I know Anders trains with Cannonier now in his gym. So that's new looks, getting fresher good looks. And I think
even if let's say he's training specifically with Cannonier, what's it going to do for him? Because Cannonier, all he does is strike.
Forward pressure, clean, tight boxing. Barrio does tend to leave his chin down. And Cannonier does hold people against the cage and works his inside clinch striking. But I'm not saying that's going to be Anders just with one camp. But you can be like, look, if you're going to control Barrio's going to circle and try to outvolume. You got to close that distance, keep it in a phone booth type fight. And that's where I think he has his chance to win the most. But
I think that Barriel is going to actually, this is how I see it going, is Barriel puts him up against the cage, gives him a few elbows, and he knocks him out.
Ooh, now. Who was the last time to finish Anders? Was it Santos maybe?
Well, by a knockout?
Or Santos. Like at least ref stoppage. I remember one fight.
Stoppage would have been Nunes when he submitted him via armbar.
Yeah, I think by TKO, I think it was Santos when he couldn't get back to the bench.
Yep. So, well, that we're split again. We have 4 already in this one. I'm going with Barria. You're going with Anders. Either way, I think that should be a relatively decent fight. I just don't like the matchup.
For an opener, I would say that's more of a better of an opener for a fight card.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. Next up, we have Dan Ige and Nate Landwehr. Now, we already talked about this, and I'm sure you're the opposite of me. I am probably one of the few people that is actually on Nate Landwehr, and there's quite a few reasons that I am. Ige, I mean, don't get me wrong, he has fought, the best guy. He's fought Cal Cater, Evloev, Josh Emmett, um, Karate Zombie. He's fought them all. He went on that three fight losing streak, and then he came out against Damon Jackson in his last fight, beat the shit out of him. Basically, they basically gave him a fight to win. Ige is a great fighter. There's no doubt about it. You go over to Landwehr, and a lot of I feel like every time we talk about Nate Landwehr, you like to bring up that he could be chinny or that whatever. I don't agree because like the two knockouts that he's been knocked out twice in the UFC, but both
Herbert
of them
Burns.
were by knees.
Yeah.
Ige, I don't think is going to be throwing any knees. I
No.
really don't. He likes to strike. So in a match between two strikers, Landwehr is going to have more volume. He's got decent power, and all he's got to do is rattle Ige, who has been knocked out. I think this is a trap fight for Ige. I really do. I think they put him. I think they put him in a spot where he's going to be really supremely confident, especially coming off that Jackson win, and he's gonna lose it. I think Landwehr fucking knocks him out, or even submits him. Landwehr's the better grappler in this fight.
Yeah, he is. Like they both have their own wrestling to an extent. I think EA credential wise has the better credential wrestling, but one thing I think I want to go Landwehr so bad in my back of my mind, but this is a big step up in competition. It really is. But one thing I'll say about Landwehr, he's more right now more marketable for the UFC. The way he acts, the way he talks, the way he brings fans in. I love that shit.
Yep, I agree.
This is my fight candidate for fight of the night. I think these guys are going to come like backyard dogs and get jiggy with it. Yes, I said jiggy with it. That's an old term. Who's the better, more? I think the wildness of Landwehr. I think he's going to timid down a little bit because when he gets too wild, he does leave some openings where he can get cracked, like he did against Onama. Onama hit him. He fell back like the Undertaker and woke the hell back up. And then that's when he woke up and ended up absolutely putting a tear on him. Now it's incredible. I'm slightly on Ige due to experience, but I would not be mad if I get this fight wrong because I love my Tennessee guys. But I think this fight's fight of the night. If somebody gets finished due to wildness, I think Ige can maybe catch him with a short shot coming in, which is very possible because Nate Landwehr does come in a very aggressive, can sometimes leave his hands a little low.
I
But
think that's
if
exactly
it
what he
goes to
needs to do in
decision,
this fight.
I think if it goes decision, I'm favoring Landwehr because from what I've seen from Landwehr fights, he doesn't gas, he doesn't get tired. He's
Nope.
always the one coming forward. So, for DFS purpose, I'm probably gonna say go Landwehr for DFS because I think, like I said, in 15 minutes, I think he can potentially throw more volume. But I'm slightly going on the favorite Ige.
Yep, and I
It's
don't
not
blame
my
you for
favorite
that.
pick.
If you go look at the RotoWire expert picks board, I'm the only one out of 8 on Landwehr.
I don't hate that though.
And people can call me crazy, but there's a lot of good reasons that go into it. He's a dog on DK at 7,100. He's almost a 3-1. DEG is a 3-1 favorite.
He shouldn't be.
Um, I think the fight's a lot closer than it is, and I think we're going to see a really impressive, important performance out of Landwehr. I really do. So I'm really excited for this fight. We are split
Oh my.
again. I'm on Landwehr and you're on
I
Ige.
was on Landwehr early in the week, but I don't know. I think this fight tonight and but DFS I prefer Landwehr.
It's going to be curious. Everybody and the majority of people are obviously on Ige. If Landwehr wins this fight, who's he get next then? Because Ige's
Somewhere on top 12?
it's got to be,
Because
doesn't
you
it?
guys what, top 15?
I did he? I don't
I
know
think
if he
he's still
got back.
ranked.
Let's find
I
out
think
for
EA
sure.
is still ranked. If not, he's still barely out of the ranking. He should be in
I
the top
think
15.
I think he's just out of it. You know, I mean, he is a really good fighter. There's no doubt about
And
it. Don't let
the crazy
anybody.
thing, I thought as long as Ige's been fighting, I thought he was the older guy.
Oh no, he is. He's 13.
Yeah,
So
wow. So yeah, so if he wins that, I'd call for someone
man,
from 12 and up, probably from like the 8 to 12 range. So
man, dude, that's brutal though. He wins this fight, then he would draw Chikadze, Tapuria, Evloev, Mitchell, Yusuf.
I don't
I mean,
honestly, if I'm him, if I had a gun to the head, I'll take call out Bryce Mitchell because you don't know where his mindset is. Because after his last fight, he looked absolutely terrible.
you know what would really be a good fight though is Landwehr versus Tapuria. It really would. That's two
But here's the
sluggers
thing,
going
though,
back and
Taporia
forth.
got Josh Emmett already, and
I
he's
know
gonna
he does,
smash
and
Josh Emmett.
he's yes. So maybe Josh Emmett lose that fight. Maybe and Landwehr wins this fight. Maybe they give him Emmett.
I wouldn't
That could
mind
be
that.
that'd be a fun one too. But that's all later on. He's got to get through Ige in this fight first. But
I would not be just to know. My heart is going Landwehr though. My pick is Ige, so I'm not gonna be mad. This is a win-win for me either way.
alrighty, well, like I said, we are split. I've got Landwehr. You've got Ige. Next up, we have Mike Malott and Adam Fugit.
You go first.
I've been torn on this fight all week. I am on Malott. Malott is the better fighter. There's no doubt about it. He does have better credentials. He's faced better competition, but there's just something about Fugit. He's like a mystery. You don't know what you're gonna get when he goes into the ring, and it's one of my favorite things about him. So, the last time with his last fight against
You
Kinoshita,
nailed it.
I killed that. I
That
absolutely
helped me
just
win some moolah.
absolutely nailed that fight, and I was all over him, and I absolutely loved it. He was a huge dog in that fight. I took him straight up, said he pretty much exactly what he was going to do to him, and he did
Mm-hmm.
exactly that. So that was awesome. But the problem with this fight is Malott. You can't do that same exact thing. You'll end up knocked out. Um, Malott is he's a really complete fighter. He can strike with you, he can grapple with you. So after his last win against Lane S and how easy it was grappling, I mean, Malott's coming. So I'm definitely all over Mike Malott.
Damn.
Did I ruin it for you?
You kind of did. Because I'm on Adam Fugit. You got me on the Fugit train, bro. And I think the crazy thing is, I remember I believe we did the video. I switched my pick to him, and he's like, "Bro, do it. Trust me, you're not gonna let me down."
Yep.
I switched it, played him in every line. I cashed in,
Yep.
and then you're
He
like, "Bro, what I tell
crushed
you?"
him.
I'll say this right now: majority of all wins for Malott is round one. One thing I'll say is, yes, Malott. Not like he has full cliff striking, but he has the more powerful striking. You seen what he did against Mickey Gall, which Mickey Gall's not UFC caliber, but all it took was one touch and he went face down. But what from I seen from Fugit, he's durable as hell. He can go 15 minutes. It took Michael Morales a long time to even get him out on a short notice, and he had good success
Mm-hmm.
against Michael Morales, taking him down with no problem.
Yep.
He took that. I don't even know that other Chinese kid's name, but he bull rushed and bullied the shit out of him easily. I'm going Fugit because I think what's going to happen is I like his style. His style somewhat reminds me of Kobe Covington a little bit. His striking in and out. He's long. He's tall. He's the better wrestler in this fight. Not a better grappler, the better wrestler. I'm going Fugit. I think
I
Fugit
don't.
can get him out of
I don't.
round one. We'll see what cardio Mike Mott looks like, and who knows? Fugit can let his hands go. Maybe shoot some takedowns. Maybe get a ground and pound finish.
I don't disagree with you.
And man, you got
I
me on the Fugit train.
don't. Yeah, I mean, that was one of my best.
I rewatched both fights today, and I rewatched his last fight twice, and I'm like, Jesus.
That's what I said in the last thing. He's a really good fighter, and people fucking underestimated him going into that Kinoshita fight
Oh, there
for
you go.
whatever reason. All right, we are split again, though I am not mad by that because I really like Adam Fugit as a fighter. But I got Malott, you have Fugit. Next up, we have a really, really good fight.
Mm-hmm.
We got Du Bronx, Charles Oliveira, and Benil Dariush. And I never wavered on my pick. Uh, I was on Oliveira. I will continue to stay on Oliveira. I do think that he is the better overall fighter. Um, I, I obviously, he had the belt. He held on to the belt for a while, and then, uh, he lost to Islam because everybody's losing to Islam. Um, but man, he was on that massive win streak. He looked good in all of his fights. Even when he got knocked down, he somehow got back up and went right to his, he submitted however many people it was during that. And I think it's going to be the same way. I don't see what Dariush can do that's going to scare Oliveira. I don't, because Dariush is a good fighter. Don't get me wrong, but his last win against Gamrot was debatable. Gamrot did just fine in that fight. He beat really fucking washed up Tony Ferguson.
Mhm.
Sorry. He beat a washed up Diego Ferreira. He beat a washed up Scott Holtzman, and he beat a has been in Jakar Close. Who has he fought? Everybody keeps saying that he's fucking this high level guy, this top level guy. He's beating. No, he fucking hasn't. He's beating all these guys that are fucking not fighting anymore.
Except for Gamrot, but that's about
And
it.
they're still fighting, but you know what I'm
Not
saying?
like
It's
yeah,
like,
not like the same level caliber of talent, but
no, you go to Oliveira, he lost to Islam. Okay. He beat Gaethje, he beat Poirier, he beat Chandler. He beat Ferguson back in 2020. Ferguson wasn't done yet. He beat Kevin Lee before that. So I mean, he's beaten guys that are still fighting and fighting really high level. I don't like Dariush being the favorite. I don't understand it, and I'm all over Oliveira.
so the only thing I'll say is, Oliveira's striking has evolved throughout the years. I
Yep.
think the only thing Darius does have on the feet, I like his more combinations, but I think Oliveira has the better pure power. I think Darius does have the combinations and volume a little bit more. He has nice kicks. As a whole, they're not the same level grappling. I'll still give Oliveira the grappling edge, but at the same time, Darius does have good grappling underneath as a whole. But it's more like defending grappling, but he can still grapple. He is a black belt. Um, Originally, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was going with the overall win streak of Dariush, but the only thing I don't like when I see his fights, and one of them was against Close, he got cracked. He was almost on skates. And if you get cracked against Oliveira, it's gonna be like a shark on blood, and he's not getting off you.
No,
So
God,
originally
no.
my pick was gonna be Daniil, but I'm an Oliveira guy. I have a hard time. I don't care. Even against Islam, I still picked Oliveira. That's just me. It's like a loyalty thing.
I did too.
And I almost went against my loyalty, but I gotta go Oliveira.
Good man.
I'm riding with Oliveira until he's done.
Good man.
He's my new cowboy.
Yeah, no, I love me some Oliveira. I think he gets right back on the train here, and I think he scores another submission. So
And I think the next promo for him and versus Islam 2, boom.
absolutely. Next, so both of us going with Charles Oliveira. Next up, we have the main event and Amanda Nunes and Irene Aldana. And I'm going to let you go first because I want to see if your opinion changed.
So one thing I'll say about this, I want to see. Well, no, I'll reward this. We all know Nunes is the GOAT. She's one of the greatest of all time. Yes, she lost to Pena, but I don't think she necessarily took Pena serious the first fight. And you know what happened the second fight? She absolutely mollywopped her like she stole something and said something bad about her mama. Originally, this was going to be the trilogy fight, but she pulled out. Aldana's taking this on short notice. I don't know how much short notice, but I know it's for short notice ish. One thing I'll say, when it comes to pure striking, Aldana would piece up Juliana Pena on the feet, and it's not even funny. So the striking, I would give advantage to Aldana. But right now, I'm not gonna lie, my heart was going Aldana because I want to see a new champion. I want to see a potential new, legend build on for that weight class. But I think I'm going Nunes. Like
Good. So I changed your mind.
you
Good.
did change. I told you
You
changed
just
my
leave it at
mind.
that.
I told you changed my
I
mind.
just had to make sure that it stayed.
Yes. But like I said, if this stays standing, it should be entertaining-ish. But I'll tell you right now, I give it, this fight would not go to the scorecard. Under 4.5 is easily to bet. You can parlay that because there's no way in hell this fight's going to finish. If Aldana was going to win, she's going to catch her with something stupid. But I think what's going to happen, I think Nunes might crack her, take her down, and then potentially submit her with no problem.
Yep. Once this hits the mat, it's done.
It's
It's
over.
over with. People go back and say, "Oh yeah, Nunez lost to Pena, blah blah blah." That was the first time we ever saw Nunez get tired in a fight. So
Oh
there
yeah,
was something else leading into that fight that was going on
either sickness, injury, who knows? But she's not gonna come out
because
and say it.
she came out. Yeah, exactly. She won't. She came out the next fight and put on a
Woo!
cardio clinic. Three knockdowns, a bunch of takedowns, controlled the entire
I
fight
think she
the
scored
entire
almost
time.
200 points.
And I mean that Amanda Nunes showed why she's the GOAT, why she's the absolute best. Aldana, don't get me wrong, she's a good striker in her own right, but she's nothing compared to Nunes. And exactly what I told you, she was losing to Macy
Macy Chase
Chiasson,
on, which I had
and
Chase on in that fight, and then
as did
she landed
I
some
believe.
insane
And,
Hail Mary kick.
but yeah, she threw up that random kick and just happened to hit her fucking liver and put her down. You know, before that, she beat Yana Santos. Santos has actually been shit since she got married and changed her name. Uh, uh-huh.
Did she
But you
lose to
know,
Pennington, or she beat Pennington?
Santos, I thought she
No,
lost.
didn't Aldana fight Raquel?
Oh no, I
Uh,
mean that was a long time. Well, she did,
yeah,
but that was a while ago.
because rumor was
Um,
before she took this title fight, they were supposed to do a rematch.
oh right, yeah, no, they
Mhm.
were. She got pulled. Yeah, she got pulled from that. And yeah, so she lost to Pennington in a really close split decision. I do think she actually lost that fight, so I'm fine with it. But then she went on to beat Vanessa Mello, and she knocked out Ketlin Vieira. They say that Ketlin Vieira fight was what really did it for her. And if you go back and I watched the fight again because I needed to see it, it was basically Aldana retreating and just throwing those little fucking hooks and hoping she landed, and she did. That shit's not going to work against Nunes. So I'm really glad that I changed your mind because Nunes is not losing this fight.
Even though I wish I didn't change my mind against Shevchenko, but I wish I would have kept that mindset. But that's a whole.
Yeah, I know. We both had Gross at the
Oh
beginning.
my god!
That was frustrating. But yep. So both of us going with Amanda Nunes. We have all sorts of dogs and different picks and shit that we could go with this time. Um, man, it's tough. But my favorite dog is obviously Nate Land, where I love him in
I
this.
don't hate that.
Um, and then as far as my lock, I should be really mean and locking Maverick just to spite you, but I'm not going to. I'm going to lock in Oliveira.
I
I
don't
do
hate
not think
that.
Darius wins this fight.
I don't hate that. Um, I just think there's two things I'm going for my potential dog. I do like Jasmine because her wrestling. I'm telling you, she's gonna shock people in her wrestling. Plus, having a home crowd is gonna help motivate to an extent. I think I'm going Fugit. I'm staying on the Fugit train. Like I said,
Just
yeah,
fuck it.
you got me on the Fugit train. I'm not getting off it. His style
Sure.
is so fucking filthy.
Yeah, I told you.
It's
It's funny because if more people would watch, watch videos like these, they'd really get an idea of, you know, just certain things that we pick up on with fighters. Because we do, contrary to what a lot of people do, we watch a lot of tape. We do a lot of talking throughout the week. We really put our time into this. So, it's not like we just make bullshit picks and pick just to pick. There's reasons behind why we pick and, who we take and what we do. Um, and that Fugit pick was, I was all about it. Go watch that video. I don't remember when it was, but I nailed everything about it.
I forget what
You
fight
know,
card.
I feel,
It was a
that
pay
was,
per view card though. It was a main
yeah,
card.
it was a good one. So,
Oh,
yep,
it was
I
that
don't hate it.
international fight card. I think it was that international fight card. It was the one I think
Oh, yeah,
where
yeah, yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
it
The
was
one
that
that
late
gets
night one where I think it
all
was
against all the
Derek
Korean
Lewis, I
guys.
think, on it.
That might be, yeah, I believe that was right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it's one of those things, sometimes, you can call them pump plays, Hail Marys, whatever you want to call them, but there's research that goes into it and goes behind it. And it's MMA. Anything can happen at any
Yep.
time. We've seen some of the stupidest shit like Julianne Pena beating Nunes. So shit happens all the time. We try to do everything that we can to make sure that our picture is accurate as they can be. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But it's not like we're not putting in the time to go over pretty much everything that we can.
You live and die by the bullet.
Absolutely. And we'll continue to do so. But we do enjoy doing these videos for you guys. Anybody that watches, we do really appreciate it. We absolutely love doing this. And it gives us a chance just to talk about the fights because, it's kind of what we do all week, anyways. So that wraps up this one. Is there? Yeah, I believe there's another card next week. There's no break.
Two of my top favorite middleweights, Vittori and Cannonier.
Oh man,
I don't know where I'm going with that one yet.
I do. Bye bye, Cannoneer. Vittori has the best chin in
I
the
know.
UFC. His chin is just.
I'm probably gonna go with my Italian self, man. So hey,
Honestly,
it's 5 rounds.
I don't think Nagano could knock out Vittori.
No,
His chin is just insane.
legendary.
It makes no sense. I mean, his chin is just disgusting.
That's why I wish that if Ferreira stayed at middleweight, I would have loved to see him fight Vittori.
Yeah, that would have been a really, really good one. But so yeah, we got Vittori and Cannonier on tap. Sarukin and Joaquim Silva.
You're getting Saruki a free win on that one.
That's Armin Petrosian and Christian Leroy Duncan. Holy shit!
Leroy Duncan by head kick.
I think I agree. We got Pat Sabatini and Lucas Almeida. I don't know where
Sabatini.
I'll be at that one, but probably Sab.
By submission.
Fucking Dalby's back. God, I just would somebody knock him out and take his legs out.
Who's Dalby fighting?
Muslim Slikov.
Is that the old guy?
He's not that old.
Is he the one that? Is that the one that fought?
Never mind. Yeah, Slikov is 38. They're both 38. So
okay,
it's a battle of old people.
Okay. Oh, he's the one that fought the dude that knocked out who did Buckley just knock out?
Who?
Who did Buckley just knock out by head kick? Fialo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The prelim card does not look all that great, actually. I'm not going to be looking forward to it at all.
Wait, isn't that Gonzalez? Wait, who's the one that beat the 18-year-old kid? Is he on that card?
No.
Oh, I saw another card. Oh no, that was the he's on the Volkanovski and the other's name fight card. That fight card's sick too.
Oh no, there is one fighter on the prelims that I'm really excited about.
Who?
I don't know. He's the second fight on the card. That makes no sense.
Who?
Ronnie Lawrence.
Oh, Lawrence against the
Argueta.
That should be a good fight. Two good wrestlers.
It's really interesting. That should be. I would rather have that fight on the main card over Torres and Mata.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do.
Torres is gonna knock his ass out.
Anyways, so yeah, that wraps up this card. We'll be back at it next week with that fun card. Actually, I think I like next week's card better than this card.
Mm-hmm. And it's free.
All the cards are free.
No, I'm not.
Just kidding. We pay for all of our pay-per-views. All righty. Well, we appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you next week. And we're off.